So we're talking with Leica today. Leica's just made a big announcement in camera technology. We knew nothing about this, and I'm here with Christian Earhart and Justin Staley, who are going to tell us all about this big announcement from Leica. So maybe I'll start with you, Christian. What are we going to hear about today?
Well, today we have a brand new system from Leica. It's called the Leica S system, and it's a brand new format. It's a much bigger system than we know from the past. It has a sensor size of 30 by 45, 56% larger than 35mm film, and that's what we will see today in the S2.
And the sensor's made by Kodak, I understand?
That's correct. It's a specially made sensor for Leica, made by Kodak, yes.
Yeah, but it's not exactly medium format, though. It still has the aspect ratio.
It's still a 3:2 aspect ratio, so traditional Leica aspect ratio, as we are known from the analog film system.
Built by Leica, built in Solms in our factory. Everything internal from the autofocus system to soup to nuts. We've designed it, and it's our components. We're not partnering with anyone for the internals. We have just signed a strategic partnership, though, with Phase 1 for some of the external applications and Capture One software to work with the camera. Yeah, we expect it to be delivered in August of 2009 or summer of 2009.
Okay. So how about the nuts and bolts of the S2 then? What's the megapixel rating for the sensor, for example?
It's 37.5 megapixel.
Okay, and how about frames per second, that kind of thing?
Currently the camera's performing at about 1.5 frames a second, but it's a prototype. It's still in that pre-production, more than pre-production, it's a prototype. So all these things are subject to some tweaking and to some finalization and to improvements of what the software can actually do once the engineers can begin to tune it. And we have here on the table the sensor from the S2, a full-frame 35 sensor, and a slide mount, just as an example to give you a feel for what the size difference is. The camera does have its own processor inside of it. It's the first medium format camera that actually has an onboard processing chip. Fujitsu came up and designed this chip specifically for us to allow us to work with the camera, to make the camera faster, to allow it to have an onboard processor. For entry into the system and for when the camera is available, there will be a 35mm lens, a 70mm lens, a 120mm lens, and a 180mm lens. And all of these lenses will feature a central shutter or a leaf shutter built into the lens. The camera has sort of a dual shutter system. The body is equipped with a focal plane shutter, and there will be lenses available with the central shutter and some lenses available without the central shutter in the future.
It's depending on the application, I guess.
Exactly.
Okay, and given that the sensor size is larger than traditional 35mm film, tell me the relationship. In APS-C terms, it was a crop factor, but it's the opposite direction now with this format.
Yeah, it's actually something in the neighborhood of a 1.25 multiplier. So, as an example, we were planning a 24mm lens that will be equivalent to a 19 in 35mm format. So, it's hopefully opening up some doors to some applications that weren't available to previous systems. A 70mm lens roughly equates to a 50mm lens in 35mm.
I truly believe that there are many different markets for this camera. Of course, there's an individual who wants the highest image quality and turns to a manufacturer who has a long-standing history, more than 150 years in lens making, and that's what we can offer with the S2. Offering the highest image quality, Leica lenses made in Germany. And then, of course, you have the professional market, many different applications in the professional market. Everyone who has worked with a medium format camera up to this date will certainly look at this camera because it is so compact, much more compact than any medium format camera out there, much more compact than many professional SLR cameras out in the market. And of course, there will be a couple of customers who have used SLR cameras in the past, might not be satisfied with 22 megapixel or whatever might be available, and really see the advantage of having a larger sensor and being able to appreciate the advantages of larger sensor and not just look at megapixel.
Now, and speaking of megapixels, it's obviously going to be a concern with that large sensor size. It records to compact flash?
It actually records to compact flash and also SD cards. So you have a dual system, and depending what your needs are, you can use either or. So it's really a camera built for the professional, but also built for the amateur who just wants the best. The camera is completely watertight, so for the working professional, that's a great advantage, and I'm sure that many customers will appreciate that.
I'll bet. Now, large cameras with heavy frames like that have a reputation for being good weapons in certain situations. How is this built? Is it going to stand up if I have to use it to defend myself?
It's a camera for life. That's what we always believe in. So our cameras are pretty much undestroyable.
Well, guys, thank you so much for showing this. I mean, I can't wait to get one of these into our lab to put it through its paces. So there you go, the S2 from Leica. Look for it in a store in next summer, I guess?
Well, of course, yes. Thanks so much for having us. And if you want more information, please go to www.leica-camera.com or call 800-222-0118 for more information.
Excellent pitch. Thanks a lot, Justin. Thanks, Christian.